Alrighty, so now we're on an OBS. So let's see how this one pans out. Last time, again, OBS did give me some issues with my streams. So if you're coming in, I'm just testing some of my streaming software here, making sure that we're not getting any form of stuttering or any forms of lag. Okay, so it looks like OBS handles our audio a little bit better. So, alright, so OBS looks like it's going the way, it looks like it works the way that I need it to work. So, um, hello and welcome to the stream. Today we are flying the beautiful HCR 72-600 from Dominica over to Trinidad. Now we have already loaded up our sim brief route in here. And today we are going to be, flying. It's going to be at least an hour in fifth, at least an hour flight time, um, going down to Trinidad there. So, let's see if we can just get everything prepped here. I'm just pulling up my sim brief on my side here, so you're going to see everything is paused here. Right, so we are climbing up to 16,000 feet. We're departing runway 09er, and we're climbing via the Carrot 1 departure over to... I'm not sure why it's sending me all the way down to POS, to PR code, but I have to verify my flight route. If you noticed here, this is definitely not the correct route, and I think we need to update this, so I'm going to go ahead and edit my flight over here. Alright, so I have gone ahead and updated the route from SimBrief right now, so we're going to go ahead and pull it up again. So I re-entered my route, and I just re-verified that route here. It's always good to verify your route in SimBrief, so you will have no issues with, getting out and do what you need to do. So today we are going to go ahead and depart out of Dominica, so I'm going to go ahead and get the aircraft set up for departure. We're getting ground power and AC wild power, and let's go ahead and get our battery on. Alright, we got AC, and now we're going to get our power on. Let's go ahead and turn all our windshield heating and our oxygen systems turned on. We got our emergency lights on, and our seatbelt signs and those no devices are set to on. I'm gonna go ahead and switch our prop brake on. In order for us to do that, again, from the last time we did our flight, you hit our hydraulic aux pump right here. And then we're gonna go ahead and move over to the co-pilot seat here, which does not looks like it wants me to move. It is not allowing me. Okay, looks like it is not wanting me to do that. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and try to get back over here. Alright, so I cannot change my view then. We're gonna go ahead and have to look at our view from this location. I just changed the view it here. Let's get our overhead panel. I'm not entirely sure how to switch this without doing that, so we're gonna go ahead and switch our prop brake set on. Alright, and our prop brake is set to on. Alright, let's see. I'm not gonna be going over to it anytime soon again, so let's go ahead and reset position. I'm sorry if this is the way that I gotta get it done, but this is the way that I gotta get it done. Alright, so now that our aircraft is powered up and we have everything loaded in, I'm just gonna go ahead and take a second here for me to, um, verify all of my information here. 1 second, guys. Okay, so we're gonna use this to set our flight plan. Um, and all right, so we're setting our fuel and our payload as well. So everything will be loaded up in our FMS. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get our departure set up. Now, this is not the updated version, so I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm flying this version to, allow you guys to see that this has not been causing any issues for me in terms of any, um, because I've heard of issues with this aircraft that a lot of persons were like, okay, well, yeah, it's causing some form of issue. However, I have never had that type of issue. Now, again, I'm not gonna, go through the entire setup phase of this aircraft because this is a sim. The walk around phase, the testing phase, these are things that I'm not gonna do with this particular aircraft. Yes, it is study level. However, it's not study level enough to, make me want to go outside and check my tires, check my brakes, check my lights, make sure everything is working. When they do have persistence mode enabled, then we will go ahead and check things like these types of checks. Especially in 2024, we will need to do those types of checks. Now, our estimated zero fuel weight is 20.0, so we're gonna go ahead 20,074. This is what we got here, and our fuel is 1956. So we're missing 30, so we're gonna go ahead and put that in, and our aircraft is loaded, and we're gonna set our takeoff trim to 1.1. Alrighty, so now that we do have that set up, we're gonna go ahead and complete our, our test and everything on our aircraft. Let's just verify that our performance is there. So we got 112, 112, 115. So 112, 112, 115. V1 rotate V2. So we are definitely going to be airborne by V2. The weather today is relatively okay. However, this is not what the Caribbean looks like. I'm going to go ahead and load up my Rex weather force here because Rex Weather Force is best for the Caribbean to show off the Caribbean weather at this time. So I'm going to go ahead and switch off my live weather and switch my weather over to clear skies. Close that, and then I'm going to load my Rex weather here. We are going to start our synthesis right now. Hopefully my Rex weather... Okay, so it says it's injecting. I'm just waiting to see clouds or anything in the background here. When it's done, it's finalizing. Alright, so I'm still waiting, but it does not look like it's injecting the weather the way that it needs to. Oh well. Rex is creating issues now, so we're gonna go back to our live weather, keep it as is, and we're going to go ahead and prepare for our departure. So our cockpit preparation checklist, we did go ahead and check our datas and our limitations, and so our parking brake is engaged. We have already checked our altimeters. Landing elevation is set to 0. Our FMS, COM, and nav, we have got that all set. Fuel quantity and our fuel on board is checked, 1920. Our fuel engine fuel use, we're going to go ahead and reset that to 0. And our memo panel is checked. Power management is set to takeoff right here, and that procedure is completed. Now we're going to go ahead and set our initial climb altitude. Anything above 1,900 feet for Carrot 1 over here is all fine. And we are going to go ahead and prepare our aircraft for that departure. Now, let's go ahead and get our aircraft all set up. So we're closing our doors and we got our wheel chocks off. We're going to go ahead and start up our aircraft, starting engine number 2. So we do, we did get clearance for us to start up in hotel mode because they're all clear. So aircraft is going to go ahead and start right now. And our engine is coming to life right here. Oil pressures are coming in. So now, alright, so the aircraft is in hotel mode right now, and we are getting this loaded up right now. Alright, so we're now in hotel mode, so we can get rid of our ground power and our AC power, our AC bus. So I'm going to go ahead and click the buttons here so that we can get them switched off so that we don't have any issues. Our pumps are running, and we are going to go ahead and do our before propeller rotation checklist. Alright, so our CDLS is on. Our takeoff data, let's go ahead and confirm that. That is confirmed. And if you notice, it gets pink over here for the V speeds. Alright, now our trims 3-axis are set, our tail prop is on board, our doors are closed, seatbelt lights, they're on, and our beacon lights are on. So that is completed. We are just going to go ahead now and get our engine started. Alright, so we're starting engine number 1, and we're going to go ahead and get prop rotation at this time. Master caution is pushed, and there we go. So engine number 1 is coming to life. Alright, engine number 1 is going into auto mode. Alright, so now we are going to go ahead and switch our prop brake off. So that's why I said I don't need to go into the other location to do it. So we're going to click off. Prop brake is switched to off. Ready. And we are not yet unlocked, which is hella stupid. Alright, let's see, come on. Okay, I'm not even able to go into the other view for me to see if I can click this out because this blocks me in this view. Alright, so I'm still waiting for this. Switch our hydraulic auxiliary pump off and our prop brake. I'm guaranteeing you that this is gonna switch off the moment I add a little bit of force here. So let's go ahead and get our flaps in. This is gonna deactivate in a second. The prop brake is still running. Alright. Let's go ahead and get this out here. Let me go ahead and switch to our overhead cam so I can get this done. Switch to our overhead. Prop brake is on. And there it goes. I know that. It's ridiculous at times, but that's how it goes. Nothing that we can do about it, okay? Let's go ahead and get this up a little bit because I hate this. Let's switch over. Let's reset position. And we should be all set for us to get moving. Alright, so now that we know that everything is the way that it should be, let's do our before taxi checklist. Alright, so we have already gotten our recall done. And our cockpit comm hatch is closed. Condition level 1 and 2 is on auto. Anti-ice is as required. Tier U is on and checked. Anti-ice kit test has been performed. Our flaps is at 15 and our nose wheel steering is on. So we're going to go ahead and continue now for our taxi. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and switch our taxi takeoff lights to on right now, and we're going to go ahead and taxi down the runway. Alright, there we go. My head was down checking something else, and it was rolling. So let's go ahead and get down to our runway here right now. Alright, so taxi takeoff lights are on. Brake check is done. Alright, so FMC, FMS is checked on our TO config test. Has been performed, so our before takeoff checklist is complete. No, our taxi checklist is completed. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and do our before takeoff checklist to the line. Our takeoff briefing has been completed. Gust lock. Okay, so we're gonna have to wait for that because we are not able to switch our gust lock to the on position. I'm just gonna go ahead and wait here for a sec. I'm gonna try our Rex weather force again. I'm just hoping it's just a single issue here that is causing my Rex not to load up properly. Okay. There we go. Rex is still looking like it does not want to behave. Yeah, Rex is still not behaving. I'm gonna have to reach out to them about this. Alright. Okay, so it looks like we have our wind speed is full deflection coming from the right, but we're gonna have a we are gonna have a headwind here for our departure, and let me go ahead and get our gust lock to the off position. Gonna get a little bit of power. Flight controls are checked. Transponder TCAS is checked, which is gonna be the serve here. Let's go ahead and switch out to the on position. And boost function is check. Airflow is normal. Let's get our brakes, step on our brakes here for us to get the for us to turn around on our runway. Alright, let's go ahead and get our landing lights are on, and our strobe lights is going on right now. It's gonna be a full turn. Alright, so below the line, cabin crew is advised, engine bleed is as required, external lights are on, lateral flight director bar is, and rudder cam is centered. The procedure is completed. And we're gonna go ahead and prepare for our departure right now. Alright, so let's depart for Trinidad, guys. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take a look down here so we can get into that wide arc for departure. Alright, power is coming up, our brake foot is on the brake. Alright, so we're doing on the high power and our high bar, and then we're released. Brakes off, here we go. Airspeed is alive. Alright, we're looking for 112 before we depart. Alright, here we go. V1, rotate. That was not a good, I was distracted there for a second. Alright, gears going up. Alright, I was gonna go ahead and do our ticks on, but let's go ahead and switch our nav on so we can follow our nav. And then we're gonna go ahead and get our VNav IAS mode to set to on. And then let's go ahead for our departure here today. Alright, so we're past 1,500. We're going to go ahead and switch to climb mode, and then our aircraft is going to pitch down for that climb. It's going to level out here for our climb. Then we're going to go ahead and bring our flaps up, and we're increasing our altitude to that 16,000 that we are supposed to go to at this time. Alright, so we can go ahead and perform our after takeoff checklist at this time. So our landing gear is up, flaps up, power management is to climb, our engine bleeds are on, taxi takeoff light is off, altimeters is set and checked, and our procedure is completed. We're still in our climb, and we have successfully departed Dominica. And here we go in our climb. Go. So we are currently in our departure phase right now, so we're waiting for our climb to continue. If you notice, this is how you actually switch on the VNav, because a lot of persons were giving us was saying that there was issues with no, I switch altitude to on. There was issues with VNav, and it's not being engaged. And again, this is not the updated version of this aircraft. This is the pre-update. I have not updated this yet. However, if you notice, I was able to engage my VNav in specific ways. Again, this aircraft is study level, so it's basically a study level aircraft, so you have to follow the procedures to the letter. which means that you cannot just go ahead clicking buttons and expect for it to work right off the bat, or you're not supposed to expect this aircraft to work as an Airbus when it's a totally different type of aircraft. Yes, the Airbus did have a hand or a part to play in this, in the aircraft manufacturing and systems. However, it's fundamentally different from an Airbus or a Boeing where you just click buttons and then allow it to go. Now, once you depart, you are going to want to have nav mode selected. You're going to click VNAV after your departure, and then you're going to hit IAS so that it can maintain the VNAV or the vertical navigation IAS speed. Right? And that way it'll start climbing based upon the speed that's set, and you need to be in a specific pitch up attitude in order for it to successfully capture that VNAV and climb via the VNAV. Alright, so right now, just verifying everything is the way that it is supposed to be. Alright, let's see. Just verify that we are okay. So my Rex definitely needs some taking a look into, because I am looking outside right now. I can see all the way outside from where I am at, and this is not exactly what it looks like. However, it can pass. There's nothing much that we can do about this. So we are in that climb. Alright, make sure everything is the way that it should be. Alright, while we proceed within our climb here today, and let's just go ahead and switch over to our camp. Let's go ahead to nav. Let's do our ND overlay. Let's run our nav aids and our airport. We're on weather, and we should be on terrain, but it's okay. We're just gonna go ahead and follow, you know, what we got here. We're gonna zoom out here, and then we're gonna go ahead and switch over to not there, but here, and we're heading over to Fort de France right now, so it's gonna go over to Martinique, and then after we're heading down to St. Lucia and all the way down to Trinidad and Tobago, or Trinidad. So we're just waiting for our climb to commence, and we should be all set. So we're in our climb right now. If you notice that we are getting a little bit of turbulence here in the climb. So we are getting a little bit of turbulence in our climb up here. So the aircraft is functioning as we are expecting it to right now, and we have no issues in our this here. Alright, so our weather radar, let's go ahead and switch that to weather. And again, the weather radar isn't functional here, so I'm not sure why I'm trying it, but we can keep it on just for keeping it on safe. Alright, so again, this is our flight plan. We're not connected to our network here because we're in the air. Go. Alright, so I'm not going to be speaking here for the remainder of this flight. I'm going to go ahead and mute my microphone here, and we're going to climb out until we get down to Trinidad. So once we are, you know, in cruise, and once we are on our way down to Trinidad, we should, I will come back on, and then we will, or if there's anything significant that I need to show you guys, I will let you know. However, I'm going to go ahead and climb out here, and I'll see you guys once we are nearby. Alrighty, yo, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for, being here. I see no one is watching, but I'm just speaking to you guys. It was pretty uneventful for the most part. We did see a huge lightning strike that happened over St. Vincent, and we are, just trying to head down. I am gonna go ahead and pre-program our arrival here. So here we go. So now we're gonna go ahead and follow up with the VNAV. Now, vertical navigation on this aircraft is a little bit different. Okay, you have to wait until you see the vertical navigation bar pop up here, the vertical track, before you can initiate a vertical navigation descent, or before you can engage. You see like how it's engaged right now? Now I can go ahead and change my altitude. So I'm gonna go ahead and set the altitude up to 2,500 or 2,500 here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and wait for our top of descent before I engage our VNAV, okay? That way, that's how you actually engage the vertical navigation with this aircraft. I've specifically selected the ILS approach for this approach, or for this arrival, just so that I can show that this is working the way that it should, okay? So now I'm going to pull up our charts for TTPP, Trinidad. We have no approach for this. Let's see. All right, so let's see if we can get some of this arrival going. So the VORILS, see if we can get the RNAV GPS and the RNAV GNS. All right. So this is not a full ILS approach. So it's basically a non-precision approach, really. Oh, we can select our VNAV. I am so sorry. I was looking at the charts. I completely forgot that I had to do this. Oh, okay. So our let's see, our flight plan. Actually went haywire here. Alright, I had to change up a few things here, and we are trying our best to get down on profile for the arrival. Now, we may have to do a circling, or we may need to hold for this arrival, because of the fact that, there was a waypoint or two in here that were not supposed to be where they were at. So I'm going to pull back on the power here. Let's go down into idle thrust so that we don't blow, overwork our engines here, so that the aircraft can start descending at a quicker rate to maintain that speed, that airspeed. All right, so with the ILS, I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. The ILS is 109.07 with a course of 104. So 109.70, so that we're going to put that in our nav. All right. So for our ILS 109.70, and we're going to hit enter here. We're going to put it here, 109.70. And we're going to hit enter right here. Now the aircraft is selected for an ILS approach, so we have tuned our ILS radio here. And our course itself, I cannot set our course yet because we are not in ILS mode yet. So now we are in the process of heading towards that waypoint here, but we should be holding at that waypoint. We're going to create a hold at CI-10. Let's pop a hold in here. Let's execute that. All right, so we are just going to go ahead and proceed to get a hold in right here. We can see the airport out there. I did pre-cache this with our scenery caching tool. And I'm just waiting for the aircraft to slow down and reach to the right speed for that approach. All right, let's go ahead and get our landing lights set on. We're below 10,000 feet, so we're going to go ahead and switch to climb power. We are going to be in a hold for the descent and landing. So once we get down to the our IAA, we're going to go ahead and exit that hold. We need to be at 4,100 feet for this approach, and we're still at 9,000. We have 5,000 to go. Right, so we're just circling here because we don't have any traffic. I would not suggest this. You hold at POS as your holding point. So this is actually going to be your holding point. Don't hold around here. You're going to be blocking traffic, especially if you fly on VATSIM. You're going to want to go to hold over at POS or the PRCO VOR. You're going to try your best to keep away from the track of any other aircrafts that are coming in. I'm only holding here because I know I don't have any traffic in here. I'm not flying on VATSIM, and I don't have any air traffic that are flying within the vicinity. So for the time being, we are trying to get down. All right, so when we, after this hold, we're gonna switch over to our ILS so that we can see our ILS system. Most persons are not aware of it. The auto mode, most times it does tune, but in order for you to activate the ILS system, you are going to have to switch over to the nav source here, which is going to be ILS 1, and that way you can fly the ILS approach as normal or as you would a regular ILS approach. You cannot just pop everything in here and expect for it to do it. If you guys are unaware, then I can forgive you for that. However, in order for you to fly this approach as an ILS approach, you are going to need to switch this over to ILS. That's your nav source. You're going to switch to ILS, and then you're going to add your course. Now, once you have your course inputted, you're going to switch to approach mode and allow the aircraft to fly its approach normally. Okay, so I'm just in the hold right now, trying to get down to 4,100 feet. The runway is on our right here, and we're just going to go ahead and make one last circle so that we can approach for the runway. So now, if you notice, we do have our ILS entered on both ILS 1 and ILS 2. It's going to be a non-precision ILS approach. However, we are just going to go ahead and just fly this approach as we would any non-precision approach. Alrighty, so the aircraft is in the process of flying this hold-in pattern right around here. I'm going to exit the hold once we round about here. That way we can roundabout and get into where we need to be. Now the aircraft is now slowing down, and you are seeing that we do have a little slight tailwind here, but once we round about here, we should get within our hold exit here. Let's go ahead and alright, so once we round about here, I'm going to go ahead and clear this here to exit it. We're going to hit clear and hit clear here. We're going to execute, and then from here we're just going to go ahead and directly into our arrival path here. Alright, so we're just making that turnaround. I'm sorry, someone did come out and asked a quick question here. So that's why I kind of paused here for a second. However, we have exited our hold-in. So now I'm going to go ahead and switch to our ILS mode right now. And if you notice, we are still below our altitude that we need to be at. And let's go ahead and switch to our vertical speed mode so that we can capture. Let's go to heading, select, for us to enter our or to get into our flight path for arrival for this runway here today. And we are definitely way too high here again. I was distracted here for a sec, but this is how you actually go ahead and capture the ILS. So it's the same way you would normally capture an ILS on a regular aircraft. You punch in your ILS information or your nav information for the frequency for the runway. And let's see if we can get our altitude down a little bit, but we are trying our best to get down. Alright, we're going to go ahead and switch over to takeoff power here so that we can and go into idle. Here we go, we're going to go ahead and select our approach mode right now. And so you see localizer glide slope is active. We are going to be capturing our glide slope in a second, but we are intercepting our localizer, and there you go. So our localizer is low star and our glide slope star. So now we're going to go ahead and set our first degree of flaps here for the aircraft to begin that, and it is overshooting by a little bit, but we are right there. There's no issues. All right, gear down. And it is going to go ahead and attempt to recapture on that ILS. But if you are, you know, having issues with it, then it just simply means that you have just not, you know, have the aircraft set up in the correct configuration for this type of arrival. Now we are just slowly coming over to the full ILS here. I mean, I can, you know, take control of the aircraft right now because I am able to see the runway from here, which is not an issue. If you notice, our localizer is still coming across again, and as we get closer to the runway, it is gonna, you know, successfully capture the localizer again. However, it is following the glide slope here, and we can just allow it to follow the glide as we get down. So I'm going into idle power right now because we are getting a little bit blown away or blown around. We're just 10 degrees off our glide slope or our localizer at this time, and we're just going to go ahead and, you know, get our speed down so that we can proceed with our approach. So localizer is now captured again. Because of the winds, the aircraft kind of overshot the localizer in that turn. However, most times you are going to be established and you are going to be a lot further out when you are establishing on this ILS system. Again, it's an aircraft that is meant to be flown by hand, manually, and it's always a visual or a VFR aircraft. I'm going to go ahead and set my chair so that I could proceed to continue this landing. I did not set up a minimums, yeah, I did set up my minimums for this, but we should be all set. Let's go ahead and, nope, we got to put this back on. This on, and we should be getting in. And let's go ahead off, AP off, and we're going to go ahead and continue the approach manually. Oh, we're above, our glide slope is above us. We're just going to go ahead and try to float a little bit. And it is turbulent here today because there's a lot of wind. Oh, we're going down a little bit too low, and there's a little bit of stuttering, but here we go. Up, we're above, we're below the glide, but we are 3 reds, we're good. We do have visual on the runway, so we're all set.
50, 40, 30.
There we go.
20.
Come on, we're not going in the air.
10.
Lifting its nose. It took a little bit of of concentration to get this to stop floating. Uh, but there you go. I was a little bit off the center line there, but this is how you would perform the ILS approach in the ATR 72. All right, let's get flaps up. And let's go ahead and turn off our landing lights here and our strobes. And we're gonna go ahead and turn off our transponder, and we're gonna go ahead and taxi in. Time to go ahead and switch on our idle here, and there you go. So our gust lock is on, condition levers are good, our flaps are up, and all right, after landing checklist, let's switch this over to our FMS so that we can get our thing. So you have to remember that once you switch over to your, you have to be on head-in mode in order for you to switch over. That's something that I disregarded, and that's why we kind of did overshoot that a little bit. Again, I was distracted for a second by someone coming to ask me a simple question, so that distracted me there for a sec. But before you enter into the ILS mode, you are going to ensure that you are on head-in mode and you are on the correct heading to intercept the localizer for that runway. All right, so you don't want to be at too much of a sharp intercept angle, like a 90-degree angle to intercept that localizer. You want to be at somewhat of a 15 to 25-degree angle when you're going to go ahead and intercept this localizer, because you will end up overshooting like I did, where I had to switch over and the aircraft was turning way too fast, and it just went into you know, lateral navigation where it just held the pitch and the roll. So you are going to want to ensure that you are on headed mode, and also you are, you know, stabilized on a specific altitude for that. So don't try to, you know, get off on, you know, the highest, or, you know, just don't try to approach at the closest angle. You want to try your best to be far away from the runway as possible, and also you want to try to stabilize yourself before disengaging that. So now we're going to go ahead and turn into our parking here. Okay, for the ATR, let's see. It's a roll and turn in and stop. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take this and spin around. This is not how you park here. I'm just parking here because this is how you park here. You go around, and then we enter right around here. There's no one around, so I should be able to get away with turning around where we're at here and enter into comfort parking. Alright, so the aircraft kind of slowed down there a little bit in this turn. Alright, so I do add a little bit of stuttering, and come on, let's go. Let's get a little power out, and we're coming around. Alright, so here we go. We're inbound for our parking. Let's get our taxi lights off. And we're on. Brakes on. And we are going to go ahead and set our collision levers to auto over here. Alright, so we have successfully arrived at Trinidad, and we are just going to go ahead and get our we're going to switch off engine number 1 so that we can engage our ground power units and everything that we need here. So we're getting our wheel chock set, and we got ground power plugged in before we shut down our system here. We're going to go ahead and set up our AC bus so that we can stop that sound, and we shut down. There we go. All right, beacon lights are gonna be switched off. Again, I'm not following the checklist here because I'm just one guy. I'm just trying to, do this and still speak at the same time. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch off our seatbelt signs. Main door is gonna be open so that we can switch our tail prop on, and then we're gonna open our cargo doors. All right, so we are parked pretty badly there, but that was the VNAV descent, ILS approach, and landing. Again, it's not a full auto land, so you cannot auto land the ATR. Again, it's meant to be flown VFR. It's not meant to be flown like an Airbus where you can fly it and use the auto land feature. It won't do an auto land for you. It will always be able to be flown and be engaged in the right modes. Again, if you are going to be performing an ILS approach with this aircraft, you are going to want to be you know on your approach, you want to be at your final approach fix, or you want to be intercepting your localizer at a particular degree of angle, 25 degrees, within 25 to 30 degrees. And you're going to switch to head-in mode, where you're going to be intercepting your localizer. Now you're going to switch from your nav source, from your FMS to your ILS. You have to ensure that in your comms here, you have to verify that you do have the correct nav frequency for the runway that you are going to be approaching and landing at in here. I switch it to both just in case. This is something that I do in the Boeings, the 737 or the 777. Although the 777 does do it automatically, I still verify that they are there to ensure that if in event one is not working, you don't have to quickly punch in information for the second. I did not set up a course for it when I swapped over. As you notice, I did not have the course set up. If you see right here, you can actually have the course set up that way. You'll notice that it moves here, but that's only when you switch over to your nav. Okay, I did it, and I did do the approach, which is not an issue. The course is just to give you an idea of the bearing of the runway itself, so you at least know what direction the runway is facing, and then you can intercept and proceed to do your landing there. So once you have your nav source set to nav, you ensure that your ILS information is punched in, your ILS frequency is punched in. If you do quickly get the course and you already have it prepared, then you can have it prepared in here. But remember, it's something that you have to do on the fly and have the course switched in. Which means that you have to be flying in head-in mode for this. So you have to be able to navigate and follow your nav display here, and do the approach. Now, once you have everything set up, you keep it in nav. Then you hit approach. You will see your loc and your glide slope become active here. And when they get alive, they'll turn green and they'll go up to here. So instead of being head and hold and pitch hold, or head and hold and altitude, you will see it switch over from head into localizer, and then it'll switch from blue to green down here, blue to green down here for your glide slope. Once you've intercepted, you just maintain your power and allow the aircraft to fly down to your minimums. Once you hit minimums, you're going to disconnect your autopilot at minimums and then continue the landing or the approach manually. Again, this aircraft is not going to fly an ILS approach for you and land it in zero visibility weather. So if that is your intention, you are not going to get that. It's best you go around and hold, or you go around and divert to your alternate. All right, so with that being said, guys, I am definitely going to be heading out here. I'm going to be doing another flight. It's going to be in the A340 300, the LATAM VFR A340. I'm going to try to see if I can get a flight out in that aircraft up to London Heathrow and see how that aircraft handles. I'm going to see if I want to use it, if it's going to be something that is feasible to be used in the long run, and that's going to be it. I do hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, man, and thank you so much for joining me today on this stream. I hope you did learn something, and you have a great day. Bye now.